Shalom from Israel. Operation Breaking Dawn. Is this conflict over, or is it the calm before the next storm? Let us find out now. Let's look at what took place at Operation Breaking Dawn in Israel with this militant Islamic terror group called Islamic Jihad from the Gaza Strip. On August 1st, Israel went in to Judea and Samaria, which is, by the way, the biblical heartland of Israel. And they arrested the leader of Islamic Jihad. They did not kill him. They did not take him out. They arrested him. Well, as a result, the two head terrorists who lead as senior commanders in the Gaza Strip decided that they would retaliate against Israel, but not only shooting at military targets of the Israeli military along the border of the Gaza Strip, but holding hostage the entire southern border of Israel. Citizens in the south of Israel were encouraged to remain at home, not to go out, to be close to bomb shelters. This is intolerable for a nation to be held hostage, as Israel has been. Not to mention the Arab residents of the Gaza Strip who are held hostage by their own terrorist leaders. That's right, they are terrorist, despotic leaders. So what took place then was on August 5th, Friday night, a Shabbat evening, Israel preempted this whole attack that intelligence had picked up, and they took out the leader named Tassir al-Jabri, who was the military commander in the southern sector of the jihadist movement in the Gaza Strip. And he and Khalid Mansour decided this revenge attack, and we picked up on it, of course, with the highest technology available before us and our own informants on the ground in the Gaza Strip. Well, these two military leaders, commanders of the terrorist group, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, were taken out. At 9 p.m. on Friday evening, a barrage of rockets then were launched from the Gaza Strip against Israel. Over the next 3 to 4 days, over 1,100 rockets and projectile missiles were shot by the Islamic Jihadist terror group into Israel from the Gaza Strip. Can you name one country in the world that would sit by and just be quiet about all this? Not at all. And as a result, of course, daily life in the southern part of Israel was held hostage. But they began to shoot rockets towards the western side of Jerusalem, where I live, by the way. And in addition, up the coast towards Tel Aviv and central Israel. That's right. That's how far these rockets can extend to. If all of you want to remember one factor, when they talk about Israel returning to the 1967 borders, we're talking of only a maximum width of 9 miles. So can you imagine if there's only 9 miles width and Israel were to allow that to happen, we would be under a barrage every day. That's right. Well, an IDF briefing, the Israeli Defense Force briefing about Operation Breaking Dawn, revealed that 1 in 5 Islamic jihadist rockets fell in Gaza. That means out of 1,100 rockets, 200 rockets fell upon their own population. And as a result, more innocent people of the Gaza Strip, those who are held hostage, women and children, senior citizens, were held hostage by their own terrorist leaders. Operation Breaking Dawn lasted for 66 hours, in which the IDF struck 170 targets, killing several high-ranking Islamic jihadist operatives, destroying much of their infrastructure. It's estimated that 15 of their terrorist leaders were taken out. Also, to note that Hamas, who is the governing authority under the Palestinian Authority over the Gaza Strip, they did not enter this conflict at all. I think they were not ready for anything that was happening. Throughout the operation, the Islamic Jihad fired an approximate 1,100 rockets. 1,100. Everybody say 1,100 out there. That's right. Of the 990 rockets that made it into Israel, 380 were intercepted by the Iron Dome, which was a 95 to 97% success rate of interception. And by the way, to all our enemies, let me tell you what's happening next year. We won't only have the Iron Dome, but we will have the laser weapon to intercept these incoming missiles. So what costs us now $50,000 to $70,000 a rocket to take out one of your rockets? Next year will only be about $2 to $3 to take it out. The Gaza death toll is estimated to have been at 31 people that were killed, including the terrorists. At least 9 killed by the terror group's misfires. We know that 6 children were killed, 4 of which were as a result of one of the rockets that went up over Jabalia and came back down. And Israel tracked this on video and proved it to the entire world, and that's why you don't hear much about it in the Arab press. Well, that's the way it goes when you're led by a bunch of dictatorships. And just to tell you this, unfortunately, there is damage that goes on amongst children, PTSD victims in Israel, and that happened during this conflict as well. One of the good things that did take place is former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was able to sit down with our present Prime Minister Lapid, and they talked in terms of unity. Netanyahu gave his full support behind the operation led by our present Prime Minister, and that was a strong show of unity and bodes well for the future of politics in Israel, unlike maybe some other countries. Not to say that we have the best, but we're not doing bad at times. Now, to go on to the final finale of all of this, where are we going with this conflict? Well, the defense minister of Israel, Benny Gantz, said to Gaza terror groups, "Your time is up. Those who hold the Gazan people hostage will have to take responsibility for the suffering." The situation in Israel's south is tense. I came here today with the IDF's Chief of General Staff to conduct a situational assessment and to prepare the actions that will remove the threat on this region. And so I believe in the coming future, it's the responsibility of the people of Gaza Strip to take back their own governing presence and begin to release your people and let them be free. As a result of this conflict, 14,000 work permits were rescinded during the conflict, which means that those people and fathers and mothers who come to Israel to work every day could not come to work because of their own leadership. So let's all pray for peace in the Middle East. Let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We extend our hands of mercy and grace across to the Gaza Strip and say, overthrow your terrorist leaders and come alongside Israel within the Abrahamic Accords, and you will be blessed, because Genesis 12, verse 3 says, "I will bless those that bless thee, and I will curse those that curse thee." And for all of you out there, I'd like you to give us a thumbs up, a like at YouTube, and in addition, to subscribe to the VFI News. Write your comments. Tell me about what you're thinking that you'd like to hear more about. God bless you and shalom.